Good morning. Hello. Good morning to everyone. Isn't this a wonderful way to start a day? I mean, not only do we have this cool weather that welcomed us, but we get all these hugs and just a wonderful place to be. So I'm Barbara Murrin, and welcome to Unity. And we want to just kind of open this up with two things. One is I would like to light the Christ candle. And I'm told I have to speak into this because it's recorded. And you who were here with me the last time, it was like, don't fence me in. Okay. Let's light the Christ candle as the flame lights and brings that light into this room. We recognize the Christ consciousness in each of us and that place that we go and express. So if you'll just take one moment and recognize that Christ consciousness with who you are and how you express, this will help, I think, to bring that together for all of us. So we can just take one moment. Now if you'll put your attention to the screens and open your eyes and come back into the room, I would like to read the statement of truth. And may I take this off? This is just... Oh, good. Okay. The statement of truth. There's only one presence, one power, active in the universe and in my life. God the good, the omnipotent. Let's say that the Unity of Blairsville vision together, please. As centered in God, we co-create a community and world that works for all. Timothy, if you can, please. He's one of the prayer chaplains.
Good morning. So our prayer box is here. We highly encourage you, if you have any prayers, to write them on this piece of paper and slide them in the little slot. We pray over them for 30 days, at which time they're sent to Unity Worldwide, which has been praying over them for a little over 100 years. As part of the prayer box, 5 steps to meditation prayer is relaxation, meditation, concentration, realization, and gratitude. I'd like to open the service this morning with a prayer. Father, one source, all, Mother, Father, universe, we ask that you equip us and fill us with your precious Holy Spirit for this service today. We ask that the message come forth, pierce our hearts, and renew our minds. And we thank you in your Son's name, in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, so this is where we get up, everybody, and we say good morning. We get up and we have a big happy song to get our day started. And Lynn Floyd's been leading us in this one for the last few weeks. It's good to see you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nice to have you with us this morning. It's kind of one of those Partridge Family songs. It's just kind of nice. Feel free to dance.
Everybody get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. We are one big family. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody you meet. Everybody get
hug. And if you don't want to do that, please just sit down if you don't feel like that today. Other than that, have a good time with each other. Yeah, this is a new congregation. Yeah, we're starting a new congregational, so it'll be a little. Remember, about every 4 weeks we start a new one. So everybody, get ready, and here we go. Nahmod is one of our favorites. So we're going to take us into a little bit of a place of more holiness and peace and love.
I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. inside to find my God. I'll go inside to find my God.
And now as we take a seat, and we're going to go into our daily word.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Daniel.
Good to be here with you today. Today I embrace the fulfillment and abundance of life. My spiritual path is not one of sacrifice and lack. I release any belief that came into this human experience as punishment. This thought is inconsistent with Jesus' teachings. Jesus invites us to have life and have it abundantly. And remember that there is spiritual good in even the most challenging conditions. What is mine to do is to allow the spiritual life to express in every choice I make and every chance I take. One presence and one power in the universe. And I am blessed to be abundant with a divine essence. Today, I embrace my life fully and give thanks for love in which I experience it all. And the scripture says, there's those who desire life and desire to see good days. Let them turn away from evil and do good. Let them seek peace and pursue it.
Thank you, Daniel. And I believe we're going to do our silent meditation. If we can lower the lights a little bit.
So if everyone doesn't mind, I'm just going to go ahead and sit back here. Because honestly, sitting up there, I don't want your focus on me. I'd like you to relax in your seats and get comfortable. And close your eyes, and if you want to focus on something, you can focus on the sound of my voice or your breathing. And allow your breath to draw deeply down into your abdomen. I'd like to do 3 ums together. Imagine yourself floating very safely and serenely and calmly, almost weightlessly, in a large ocean of water. And I like to imagine this water has a vortex in it. And we just relax and allow the vortex to take us in, to take us deeper, to take us deep inside of ourselves where we find the clear light of reality, the clear light of that which is deep within us. And if we just relax and allow, this energy will draw us in from almost like the top of your head. You go around and around, gently, slowly, going deeper and deeper into our heart space, into that Christ light. And as we go, that light just enfolds us. And clears away all fear, clears away all pain. Some of us hold on to the things we find along the way. Just observe, be still, let go. Allow that which is to bring us inward.
And as we bring ourselves into a place of having conversation with God, we say the Lord's Prayer in our own way. Repeat, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen. Good morning. Good morning. And we have a little video now, right? looks like I'm going to be using this today because Mercury's in retrograde, it looks like. Actually, which one's better? Should I use this one, Josh, or that one? Whichever. Is this okay? If I turn it on? Mercury, can you hear me? Hello? Take this one. Thank you. Boy, I remember when I first got started up here, a few months ago, almost a year ago, and I was having to run around and do all this stuff. And I just get you remember? Trying to do all this stuff, and now I've got people helping me, and it's so nice. It's so nice. And I'd just like to thank you all. I mean, when was the last time someone told you you're beautiful? And you are beautiful, each and every one of you. You're so beautiful. Don't forget that. Please always remember that. And as we start talking about today, and there is just so much going on in the world around us, and it's literally tapping at our doorsteps every day now. And in that tapping, I wanted to talk about unity. I wanted to talk about the beauty that we find within ourselves when we stop looking at the material world, because we look at things like what's going on in Texas, tens of thousands of people without homes, tens of thousands of people, millions of people affected, just right down the street from us, really and truly. And we don't always want to talk about these things, right? We don't want to talk about them, but we must. We especially when we come to a place where we get our spiritual feeding, and we talk, and we want to understand, how did we get there? What does that look like to the world? And the first thing that comes to my mind is materialism is how we got there. We became comfortable in this country and in the world because we had nice houses and electricity and warmth where the water didn't come up and saturate us and keep us wet and cold. And through time, as more things came to us in a very wealthy country and in a very wealthy part of the world, what seems to happen is we begin to maybe forget how beautiful we are because things take our place. Things take the place of who we are inside. And then we watch them get washed away, or we watch them get burned up. In states like California, Los Angeles having the biggest fire they've ever experienced right here, right now, today. The largest fires ever. The largest floods ever. And this isn't just happening in this country. Bangladesh has been washed away. These countries, the Philippines, washed away. So it's not just happening here. It's happening all around us. And there are things that we see, and we don't really know, do we, what to do about it sometimes. We don't feel like, wow, how can I take an action on that? But maybe the action that we take with that, let's go into the next screen, Josh. About 5 weeks ago, I started saying for the next 2 months, because where I come from in my spiritual being, it's been about lessons ever since I got here. Just trying to feed lessons and teach principles and truths that are held by unity. And there's a lot of work in that. It's constant work. We constantly feel pulled to learning how to love, learning how to take God's creations, the creation of Source, that creation that we connect with in holiness and we manifest from through this voice, through our actions, through everything we do. And we got a lot of work to do there, and we've done a lot of work, and people continue to do a lot of work, and we will always do a lot of work. But there's something that happens when there's natural disasters around us and all of our things are taken away. We move up here to the mountains and people talk about prepping and preparing for, you need 30 days of food, 60 days of food, 90 days of food in case there is an emergency like what we just saw. And it was brought to my attention that all those people that were prepping things down in Texas, California, Bangladesh, all over the world, people have prepped and prepped and prepped. Did they get to eat any of that food? when we begin to look at what's inside of us, that's when the communities get pulled together. And they begin pulling together because there's nothing else to pull from. There's no house. There's no food. There's no clothing. So what do? Our community begins to build and to form itself anew because there's nothing else to pull from. All those things that we thought were so important that we would prepare for, and maybe some of that will be useful. I'm not saying it's not. But when you look at when there's nothing left except your community, you begin to really ask yourself, and in our prayers, we begin to say, what is unity? What is community? Visualize with me, if you will. There's a big flood here. Let's just say it. We're not bringing it on. We're just saying visualize there was a big flood and visualize all these mountains. And we know what happens. I had one in Chattanooga before I moved away from there. We had this really big storm and no one had ever seen anything like it. And the floodwaters were like nothing I'd ever seen. And I lived in the valley right below Signal Mountain. And I looked out my window. I heard the storm that night. I looked out my window, and I could see about halfway up, about 4 feet up on my fence, it looked like mud had been there all night. And I'm like, and the gate was pushed open. And I'm like, was somebody in my backyard last night? I didn't even realize what had happened. But that water from the mountain had come down so hard and so fast that it flooded the entire valley where I was overnight, and the horses were up to here in water. And so I went out and I asked my neighbors, I said, things look weird. What happened? There was a water line in my yard, halfway up my yard, and it never floods there. And there was this huge water line. And I'm like, what happened? And my neighbor said, well, I had to get my horses out last night, get them out of the water so that they wouldn't get sick. But this whole area was just flooded with water. And then I went down the street and there was a big telephone pole that was out in the street. And you think, well, how can that happen? And then you see the things that you see on TV where boulders are being moved, where trees and houses are literally being moved. I've been thinking about this for a long time. How do I bring this up to my congregation, to our congregation? How do we talk about this? Because we don't like to talk about it. Nobody likes to talk about it. But I felt like today was a good day to talk about it because we've got another storm coming. We've got another 3 storms coming. And some of them are saying they could hit Atlanta. They could hit New York. And again, this is a very sobering conversation here. But it's one we need to have because we're talking about how do we move forward in love and prayer in community when everything is washed away. It's knocking on our doors, my friends. And if it doesn't affect us directly, it affects possibly family, neighbors, and many, many other people that we know. Guests? Did you say guests? Yes. Gas. And we're seeing that too, aren't we? Yeah, so, please, now is the time whenever you pass a gas station and you're not on full, fill your tank up. That'll get you through a week. So we need to think about these things. We've become very aware of these things. Unity consciousness, universal unity means, through Charles Fillmore in the Revealing Word, universal oneness of God, man, and all creation. The only real unity is in spirit. It is found nowhere else because personality always strives for its own success and aims for the good of the personal man instead of the good of all men. Right on target, isn't it? I mean, we can all relate to that. As we attain more and more and more things along our path, we put away more and more community. We put away our unity with each other and with the world because we had things to replace our time with and our minds with. Things replaced us. I'm going to call a meeting this coming Thursday night. What I have noticed in almost the year that I've been here is we have people that want church or to come to a Sunday service where they can be fed spiritually. And that's what they want. That's really what they're interested in. And that's beautiful. It's perfect, right? And then we have people that want community, and they want a little more than just church. They might be thinking about these kind of things that are happening around us, but they don't know how to get that either. None of us know how to get that. We're not sure what that looks like because, like we just talked about, we can gather food together, we can gather our friends together, but you live over there, and you live over there, and you live over there, and I live over there, and I come here, and I've been thinking myself, Joel, okay, let's look at this one. The Joel Osteen thing. Who's familiar with that? I'll repeat it, so if you're not familiar with it. So Joel Osteen has a congregational area in his church that holds 30 to 40,000 people, 3 services a day or something crazy like that, right? And they had been through an experience where his church got flooded. And he showed pictures of it. But someone came out and attacked Joel Osteen this last week for not opening his church to the people that were in the floods. And it didn't look very pretty, the way people were saying it. He was able yesterday to get on TV and say, actually the waters receded, but we didn't want to bring people into somewhere where we knew it had been flooded and it could flood again. So everybody has their reasons. They have their judgments they make. Do we not all make these judgments when we hear something? Even though we say we're not here to judge, we still make those judgments even when we know people are doing good work. What are we going to do right here? I want to know what we're going to do. When you're rescuing people from the floods, when you are helping people out of the fire, does that become your community? After watching what we're watching, I'm going to say yes, it is. Whoever you're around, whoever you can serve, whoever you can love, and whoever you can support becomes your community. And when the waters go down, or the fires die out, or the earthquakes subside for a minute, and then you go, okay, now I'm hungry, or now I don't have electricity and all my matches aren't working and I don't know how to build a fire maybe. Well, simple things that are kind of really important. Where do we go and what do we do? I want to start that conversation. And I'm going to start that on Thursday evening at 6 o'clock. And for those that would like to help make a plan, what you might like to do if there's an emergency, how you might like to support your community, what that might look like to you, because we haven't talked about it. And everything that I can tell, every major church in this country hasn't talked about it either. I'm not saying you have to come and talk about it. I'm saying I'm going to open a space that if you want to come and talk about it and devise a way that you're kind of just not, or I'm not, just kind of at a loss as to where we will move forward from should something happen around us. A tornado, water coming from the top of a mountain onto your house or my house, whatever may happen. And what comes to my mind are things like this space. It's the center of town. There's no places to sleep here if people need it, but if there's an emergency, a church to me, a center is a place where you open yourself up and you support the people around you. Again, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what it looks like to any of you. But I know we need to talk about it, and it's time to talk about it. So I'm just going to open that door up 6 o'clock this Thursday for us to have a gathering and talk about what you want. Do you want to come to church? And that's beautiful. Do you want to prepare for something that might possibly be around the corner for us as far as preparing our hearts, if nothing else? Just so you say, okay, I'm going to go through whatever's happening, and when that's over, what do I do now? So I'd like to talk about that, because let's go into the next slide, Joshua. Man makes conscious unity with God first at the center of spirituality. As these times come upon our life where the earth is changing, your traditional Christians right now are saying we've entered the time at the eclipse of the tribulation. So your traditional, literal folks, that's exactly where their head's in. You walk in any church right now, that's where their heads are. We've entered the time of tribulation to them. In my mind, and in Unity's mind, I can honor that for them. Absolutely. And maybe that is the time of tribulation for us all in one aspect or another. Maybe it looks like a timeline shift for us in consciousness, the way we look at it. Maybe we say that Christ consciousness will guide us to serve and love in the highest ways we can, and it will bring such joy and such fulfillment on a level that we haven't probably experienced on this planet. There are things we cannot control. We don't want to control. We have no control over, other than the prayer. This center having its basis of action in the top of the head. Spirituality. Speaking with God. Your communion with Source. How is that working for you, and how will that work for us in the days ahead? There is nothing that tells me besides my consciousness that God is love, that the Christ consciousness always provides for me. No matter what happens, I don't have to look at it as something scary. I don't have to look at it. It is my choice if I look at it as something scary or debilitating or something I can't handle. That would be my choice, right? But I can also look at it as saying, wow, are we going to have a chance to really be community again? And what might that look like? Am I going to have a chance to truly love and put away all of my materialism, put away all of my things, because I'm going to need to be there for others. And I know that when I'm there for others, when I'm there in service, there's something inside me that lifts up. And while there may be tears around me, and there may not be things that don't look so pretty around me, I get lifted up in here. And I just want to go out and help, and I want to love. And I know each of you feel that. You've each felt it some way, somehow in your lives. So I'm asking us to explore that love through understanding makes man conscious with unity with God first at the center of spirituality. This center having its basis at action at the top of the head. The only way to establish unity with the Father mind is in prayer. Next slide, please. God's name is I am. Om. Speaking this name in the silence, This is not for us to go around saying, I am God. That's not what this says. In the silence, I am one with God, and there I may pray. In recognizing that it is God's name and ours, we establish conscious unity with Him in the silence. Where Jesus talks about, don't go out and tell people that I healed you. In the silence of that prayer, know that your faith in me healed you. Your faith in God healed you and made you whole. Next, Josh. I'd like for you to pull out, if you would, a piece of paper does everybody have one of these pieces of paper that I sent around? World Day of Prayer with Unity could not be coming at a more precious or beautiful time for us. This is next Wednesday and next Thursday. It's called Unity World Day of Prayer. It's our official World Day of Prayer experience. I'm going to get a little closer so I can see this. But I would ask you to please mark your calendars and visit us here at Unity. We are going, not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, we have our potluck at 6 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, we are going to start live streaming from Unity Worldwide. And we are going to start live streaming what's going on there that night with opening ceremonies starting at 7 o'clock. We'll be doing that here. And then on Thursday, all day long, our prayer chaplains will be holding space here. We will be live streaming. And this is the schedule of what that looks like. The schedule, and you can go on, you can link it. I've got it right down here at the bottom if you'd like to go see what Unity's doing. But basically, it is this. But we're going to live stream the events on 2/17. Wednesday at 6 o'clock, we'll do our potluck. So we're going to bring a dish to share. And then at 7 o'clock, we're going to do an opening ceremony for keynote speaker Reverend Linda Martella-Whitsett with music by Janice Stanfield, and she'll be performing live on these screens. And then she'll be singing. Thursday morning, there's a 7:30 a.m. interfaith prayer breakfast, online only. We are going to open the doors here at 10 o'clock. that day. And then I have a list of the different prayers. So if you would like to pray in a Buddhist fashion or a Christian fashion or a Hindu fashion or something else that might appeal to you, maybe in many faiths, maybe you can take the sheet of paper that we have that has these prayers and come in here with prayer chaplains and pray in many faiths and honor the many faiths that are out there. Or maybe you choose to do your own, whatever feels comfortable to you. But at 10 a.m., we'll open for live streaming, and 11 o'clock is the Silent Unity Prayer Service. At 2:30, there's a sound immersion with Mark Allen Gossman to lift and release prayers of peace. And at 7 p.m. is the closing keynote concert with Janice Stanfield, Peace in the Mist, A Global Perspective. You don't have to be here all day. Come and go as you want. We're just going to hold these spaces open. These are the times when the live streams are going to be here. We will have prayer chaplains here holding space for the whole day if you want to come and pray with them, or if you want to just come and pray for yourself or with yourself, for humanity, for and with God, for and with creation, whatever that looks like for you. And by that time, another hurricane will be on this land, it looks like, and with another couple to follow. So the consciousness of prayer that we're talking about holding for this area, for our loved ones, for our friends, we can hold that space right here, but we can also join in a universal consciousness in prayer with humanity that day. And the timing really could not be more beautiful, if you ask me. So let's go next, Joshua. And I would like to do a little prayer right now with everyone. We'll just close our eyes. Father, Mother, God, Source, and all that is, that flows through me, within me, and everywhere, through everything, through every plant, every tree, every piece of life that makes up God. We reach out in love and knowing that the cleansing that we are all experiencing from materialism into nothingness and into greatness from that, we hold in oneness with God. We know we are loved. There's a song, dear God, that I love. And it's about Superman. And Superman did not forget us. It was just too much for him to bear. So we know we hold our love and our faith and our courage strong. And we lift God up instead of just lifting ourselves and asking God to lift us. We hold God up. And in this faith, this love, this knowing that we were brought onto this earth to serve and love in ways we have not even experienced yet, we hold our faith of God and service and love so high that no matter what happens around us, we lift up that faith, and through our voices, through our arms, through our hearts, and through our minds, we tap into those around us and serve, letting go of anything that is not for us to hold on to. We take a deep breath and we know we are loved and we are beautiful, and everyone around us is so beautiful. Everything around us is so beautiful. And so it is. Amen. Next. before I do this, I think I'll go into the other stuff. Let's go ahead and do our offertory prayer. We'll rub our hands together like we do to create some energy. I don't know what to do with this mic. Put it toward our ushers and the offerings that will fill this place and serve us as we need to serve our community. Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Y'all come forward just a little bit. And now, with me, we dedicate and consecrate these gifts of love to the love and the work of God. And so it is. Thank you. And there's another story that comes to me. Thank you all so much. That comes to me that during the eclipse, we had gone out to Joshua's house. A bunch of people had gone out after the Off the Grid Festival. And we were watching the eclipse, and the eclipse was happening. It was right as it full eclipse, there was this wall of clouds, like a solid wall. And it was getting ready to go into that wall of clouds. And Joshua actually was the first one that said something. He goes, "Why don't we dissipate these clouds?" Everyone at that moment just stood in prayer and dissipated those clouds. And it was remarkable. It just went around it. It all changed, and it was just remarkable. Through the power of prayer, maybe there is a way we can move things around and dissipate what doesn't serve humanity to the greatest good, or God to the greatest good. So let's hold that space, knowing we have the ability to really move things that we might not think we can move, kind of like the moving of the mountains kind of thing. We do have those gifts. It's within us, and we have that ability to do that. Let's right now, do we have any first-time visitors? I know we got 1, 2, 3. Are you a first-time visitor? It feels like I know you. I mean, we've met, I know, but it feels like you've, yeah. It's so good to see you. Yeah, it's so good to have you all here with us. And we do have a little packet. There's some great little trinkets of great information in the little booklets in there if you'd like to read them. So we welcome you. We thank you all for being here. And then I'd like to make some acknowledgments and announcements. A lot of people have gone and done a lot of work as we prepare ourselves for what's getting ready to happen. We've got Unity and Diversity happening September 23rd at Meeks Park. We're sponsoring this. We have many people now assisting us. We have Unity of the Mountains will be attending. We have Unity Atlanta that will be attending. We have Unity of Gainesville that will be attending. We have people coming in. Vivian is going to be doing a workshop on some soul work with children. We have a lot of other people and adults. And we have a lot of other people. If you have something you want to share to work with at these kids, all you have to do is bring a tent and a banner, and do your program that day, because as I'm reaching out, as we're reaching out with this flyer and we're reaching out to people and we're saying, we are doing this event on September 23rd on behalf of our youth and adults in teaching them a more loving way to not bully. Actually, I'm not using the words not. Sometimes I get it really right, and then I just messed it up here in church. But the ability to allow those that have been bullied to take their power back in a loving way. Teach our parents and children who do bully that there is a nicer, kinder, greater way, and that looks like love. And there's a way we can do this. So we invite you. We got 3 more bands this week. We got 3 bands out of Atlanta that are coming. Just a lot of really, really good things. So please spread this on Facebook. Friend it with all your friends. If you can go and like the page and then take 30 minutes and go friend all your friends on Facebook to come to this event. We will be in the middle of a lot of things by September 23rd on this planet. I don't believe we could be in a better place than doing something where we lift up humanity and we love our neighbors. And as it says here, let's live the golden rule for one day. Love your brothers and sisters for one day. Can you do that? You don't have to like them all. You don't have to be best friends with them all. But can you honor them? Just love them. Because we can do that. So, and I'm having fun with that. Even when I go to the ultra-conservative churches and you say that, they get that. So it's fun stuff. We are also, right after that event, we're going to start a peace jam here on the last Thursday of the month, where we're inviting our youth and anyone else that wants to come. But we really designed this for youth so they can come, and we're going to do a peace jam where they can bring their music, they can sing, they can come, they can listen. But we're opening up this space here so that our youth in the area of diversity, whatever that looks like, have a safe place to come. And then also, we have our raffle going on. If you'd like to get a ticket outside for painting, Luis is going to be doing lots of raffles on some things that we had left over from this spring when we did an event. So we have all that going on. And what's next, Josh? Course in Miracles study group. We're not doing it. I think Course in Miracles, I think we are. Mary called me yesterday. We can send some love and prayers to Mary. I think she's not going to be hosting Wednesday for a little while. She gets her health back in order. So let's hold a space for our dear, dear Mary Sensei. Wednesday potluck at 6 o'clock. Last week was our little potluck. We do some every other week. We have every week we do a potluck at 6 o'clock. But then every other Wednesday, what we do is we call is like a little intimate potluck. And that one is just so nice too, my friends. If you're looking for something to just hang out with family, spiritual family, and just be somewhere where you can just talk and have a good evening. We may end up doing something, as far as education on those Wednesdays. Every other Wednesday, we have a workshop or something going on as well. Carla, thank you for yoga. Been doing that ever since we opened up these doors here. You're a blessing. We got to take a hike last week and get out and walk. We have, if you're not on Friends of Unity of Blairsville yet on Facebook, please go there, because that's where we invite each other to go on hikes and to do things together and to build community with each other. It's really important. These guys back here, the Massies, they've offered for us to do a bike event where we can do a bike ride one day together, and that's going to be really fun. That's coming up too. Morning meditations on Sundays with Thomas as well. Next, please. And then we've got the Canuga retreat coming up. Please come with me. This is a little event. While they're singing, I can still talk. But this is is it Lake Canuga? Is it Lake Canuga? Is that where this?
Canuga is just what it is.
It's just what it is.
There's a lake there. It's a retreat center.
Yeah, I've been there, but I didn't know how it got its name. So.
Yeah, that's all I know. I mean, it has a hotel, but it also has cabins.
Yeah. So this is the week after we do our event on the 23rd. It's going to be Canuga. It's a blast of a week. If any of you can come, the information is on the newsletter that was sent out yesterday, and then this is just a little spat on it. So let's go on past that. And then here's some of the other upcoming groups that we have. Please see your newsletter for that. A lot of new things going on there and a lot of announcements, but sometimes I just need to do that. Next, please. And we have another new song. You want to brief us on this, Josh?
Yes, so someone made a suggestion when I asked about welcoming the children in of what songs would be nice, and someone suggested this Ooh, Child. Now, I want you to note that I've shortened it and I've changed the words to match our unity thought and affirmative prayer because it was very much future tense. If anybody remembers the song, ooh, child, everything is going to be all right. So pay attention to the screen because I've changed the words a little to make them present tense. Because, if we're always singing about the future and singing about the future and singing about the future, well, that's when it comes, is sometime off into the infinite future. So let's try this out.
And then just whenever y'all feel good, you can come on in. Thanks, everybody, for your patience and love today. It's been a beautiful day. Thank you. Ooh, child, things are going easier. Ooh, child, things are brighter. Ooh, child, things are getting easier. Ooh, child, things are brighter. It's today, yeah, we're getting it together and we're getting it all done. Today, your head is much lighter. Today, yeah, we're walking in the rays of a beautiful sun. Today, yeah, much brighter. Ooh, child, things are getting easier. Ooh, child, things are brighter. Ooh, child, things are getting easier. Ooh, child, things are brighter. All right.
Lily is going to tell you about our lesson today. You can stand up if you like.
Today, our lesson was love. So, we watched two videos actually. One was about this elephant and a dog getting along, and usually they separate and aren't together, but that relationship was different for them because they liked each other. And the second one was mom elephant, her baby got stuck in a hole of mud. So for 11 hours, she tried getting her baby out of the hole. And eventually, the entire village had to use a truck of bananas to get her away from it so then they could get the baby out because her feet were always sliding in mud. And eventually, they finally got it out. And we had an idea to go to Tennessee to see an elephant sanctuary.
Oh, fun. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Thank you, guys. Do you have anything else?
Vivian came to me and said that she is willing to help with the children. If anyone else has an interest in sometimes being with the children, we always want 2 teachers. We always want someone to be able to just jump up and go in there and do something if the situation happens like a couple of Sundays ago when both Barbara and I happened to be sick and weren't here and children had to stay in the sanctuary. So we want you to know that there's lots of fun things to do in there, and even if you don't have a lesson plan, we all have unity principles in our mind. Just pull one out and the kids will teach you something.
And before we circle up today, thank you guys. Thank you. Before we circle up, we do have an event planning meeting at 12 o'clock today here if anybody wants to get caught up on what's happening for the event. And we could use you all on September 23rd if anybody wants to help with the event. So let's circle up and do our peace song. Yes, ma'am. Yes, say it.
There for everybody who wants to help with Texas and all. There's a trucking company, Gooch Trucking is gonna be having their truck trailer at Transplanted Treasures from September 6th to the 8th. And they need baby items, they need personal toiletries, canned goods, things for cleaning up, and you can just go there and donate.
Where's that at? Transplanted Treasures?
I think it's up past,
On 129?
129 south of the square. Yeah, it's like a place shop. Yeah.
Beautiful.
What are the dates again?
The 6th through the 8th.
6th through the 8th.
The trailer will be there.
Y'all ready? Here we go. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, in family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And now our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love of God. The power of God protects me. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over me. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And now on our departing song, just walk around, sing to everybody, and join us in the kitchen when we're done for treats. We'll see you at noon. We hope you've enjoyed your stay. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for the day. We hope you've enjoyed your stay. Outside the sun is shining, seems like heaven ain't far away. It's good to have you with us. How'd you get out? How'd you get out? You escaped. You escaped. I think, probably. You escaped. Come see Daddy. We hope you've enjoyed your stay. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for a day. We hope you enjoy your stay. Outside the sun is shining, seems like heaven ain't far away. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for the day. Have a great day, everybody. We love you.
Well, they had a very beautiful service yesterday for Barbara Hanks. So